Hello and welcome back to Charter Board training offered by the iConnect Zone in District 49. I'm Andy Franco, the iConnect Zone leader, and today in session 6 we are going to talk about the topic of relating to the Charter Authorizer. In this session, participants will review the aspects of the Charter Authorizer relationship. Participants will gain understanding of Charter Board accountability through the annual review process, accreditation and renewal process. In addition, participants will review the Charter School Act as it relates to the Charter Board and the Authorizer relationship. Let's get started. A positive Charter Board Authorizer relationship begins with understanding and communication. In the iConnect Zone, we focus on supporting the autonomies of the charter school while ensuring compliance to the contract held between the Charter Board and the Authorizing Board. One of the important aspects to keep in mind is that a charter is an agreement and a contract between the charter board and the district authorizer, or in some cases, the authorizer at the state level. A positive charter board authorizer relationship is built upon two-sided understanding and communication of the Charter School Act, the charter contract, the accreditation and state reporting process, the annual performance review, and compliance submissions. Let's first talk a little bit about the Charter School Act. The Charter School Act describes the relationship between the charter applicant and the authorizer in the following ways. The charter school is a public school. This is something to keep in mind. Charter schools are not private entities. They are funded through public dollars and they operate as a public school. A majority of the students enrolled in the charter school must reside in the district or a contiguous district in which the charter school operates. That means that more than 50% of your students must either live in the district or in an adjacent district for you to be in compliance. The charter school shall be accredited by the school district and shall be subject to an annual review. In the case where a charter is authorized by a local school district, it is the LEA or the Local Education Authority's responsibility to provide an accreditation status to the State Board of Education. The Charter School Act also describes that the charter school is subject to all federal laws and state laws not otherwise waived. One thing to keep in mind is that although the school has the ability to apply for waivers of state statute and district policies, the charter school cannot waive out a federal law. That's something to keep in mind as you operate your school and as you navigate through the waiver process. Next, the charter school shall be administered and governed by a governing body in a manner agreed upon within the charter contract. Your governing board has been described within the application, and that was approved and confirmed through the signing of the contract. Lastly, the charter school has the ability to enter into third-party contracts. The Charter School Act is explicit on this issue. This means that the charter school can contract out for services and get things provided to the school through vendor contracts and third-party negotiations. Critical to this aspect is also the notation within the Charter School Act that although the charter school has the ability to enter into the third-party contracts, the charter school also is liable and can sue or be sued, something you want to keep in mind. The next area I'd like to discuss is the charter contract. The charter school contract is the guiding document that describes the agreement between the charter board and the authorizing board. Notable characteristics of the charter contract include the following. The charter application serves as the basis of the charter contract. Keep this in mind as you navigate through the operations of your school. You should always refer back to what the original application or the renewal application stated and how it relates to your charter contract. The charter contract shall reflect all agreements between the charter board and the authorizing board. In other words, it describes how each entity shall act. The charter contract specifies the district policies and state statutes the charter board will adhere to or waive with replacement. This is an important aspect of the waiver process to keep in mind as well, is that in order to waive out of a state statute or a district policy, you need to provide a replacement and rationale plan. The charter contract also describes the term of the agreement and identifies the renewal process, or in the case that a school must close, what process will be taken in that event. Finally, remember that material changes to the contract may be made only with the approval of the charter board and the authorizing board. If there's ever a time where you want to make changes to the contract or changes in general, it's important to understand what is considered to be a material change. Work with your authorizer to understand what those things might be. Next, let's talk about accreditation and state reports. According to the Charter School Act, the local education agency, or the LEA, is responsible for the accreditation of the charter school. The accreditation process is advised through state reports such as the School Performance Framework and other data collections that might be taking place within the authorizing agency. This information is collected, and once a report is compiled, that is shared with the charter board as well as with the authorizing board. A recommendation is made from the district administration as to the accreditation status of the school. Once the district board has approved the accreditation status of the charter school, that recommendation is then transferred to the State Board of Education for final accreditation. The accreditation process is informed by the annual performance review. Per the Charter School Act and the charter contract, the authorizer is responsible to conduct an annual review of the charter school. The evaluation of the charter school considers the following: academic performance and growth, financial performance to include transparency, compliance, and sustainability, governance performance, and operational performance. Each of these categories is evaluated on an annual basis, and it is a collaborative process. This means that the charter operator must supply the district authorizer with information in each of these four categories. The district authorizer then evaluates the information and contributes its own findings from observations and collections, and provides a final review report to both the district board as well as the charter operating board. The annual performance review is informed primarily through compliance submissions. The details of the Charter School Act are many and can be complicated. To ensure both the charter school and the authorizer are meeting the expectations defined in statute, the authorizer requires a series of documents be submitted throughout the course of the school year. In District 49, the iConnect Zone has created a course in which the students are the charter administrators and the assignments are the submissions, and the report cards are the indicators to the charter board. On a quarterly basis, the iConnect Zone provides a report back to the charter boards of the submission status of the school. Since this is often conducted by the administrators of the school, this should be something that you regularly talk about in your board meetings. Having a good understanding of what submissions are required and when they are required is the responsibility of both the board and the administration. The submission process should be a responsibility of the day-to-day operator of the school or the administration. The results are shared and become the basis for the annual performance review. So to conclude this session, it's always good to remember that we're in this together. It is always okay to reach out to the authorizer. Invitations are welcome and desired. Leadership attendance is critical, and it's most important to stay connected. So work with your authorizer. Authorizers work with your operators, and let's do this together. For Session 6, we have the following assignment. Consider the list of tasks provided in the documentation. Determine which tasks are most appropriately completed by the charter board and which are most appropriately completed by the authorizer. Provide any questions you might have as you sort your lists. Thank you for your participation in Session 6. I look forward to sharing more information with you in our last session, Session 7.